Hello, welcome to another episode of Live with Jill and Frank, episode 52, actually. My name is Jill Petrie. I'm a psychic medium, and this is.
And my name is Frank, and I am a mystic and a coach, spiritual coach, I guess.
Okay, so welcome, guys. Tonight we are asking that you please share the live, first of all. And we're going to be talking about a few different topics. One is going to be manifestation and how to manifest things in your life. And another episode, another topic which we'll get to later in the show is going to be magic and witchcraft. And we're also going to be talking about energy balancing and I believe shielding empaths, right, Frank?
Shielding for empaths, yeah. Well, I mean shielding for anybody, but it's because shielding is a very very important thing for empaths, I believe. So, especially when they're not quite yet able to differentiate between their own emotions and those of others. But we'll get to that
Right.
in that segment, I guess.
So give me a second, Frank. That you
Absolutely,
can take off with it. I'm sharing the live real quick,
absolutely.
like I always do, and I got a little bit behind.
All right. Well, I guess when we're talking about manifestation, everybody thinks immediately like law of attraction and so on and so forth, right? And then everybody has a different way that they're coming at it, and so on and so forth. Now, here's my take, and I like to responsibilize people, so sometimes I'm not the most popular, but here's the way I look at it. If you're sitting in your living room doing absolutely nothing and going like, I am going to think of something and it's going to manifest, and you're thinking of a castle and you're eating Cheetos in your living room, you're never going to get that castle, right? Now,
Right.
if you manifest that castle in your thoughts, in your emotions, and in your actions, then yes, you may end up with that castle quite quickly, but you got to put the actions in. You got to put, like when we get to magic, it'll be part of it. You got to put all four elements in it. You can't just, sit on one and go, okay, let's have that drive me. No, you got to drive it too a little
And
bit.
let's just say that what you put into it is the result you get. Um, like with anything else, buy cheap, get cheap
Exactly.
majority of the time. So, yeah. So let's see. Manifestation, harnessing the power of intention. So, manifestation to me would be to, I'm sorry, I have you right here. So, I'm looking, when you see me looking that way, I have to see that we still on.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That works.
So, manifestation to me would be, you could do it in many different ways. You could do like, chanting, if you can make chants for manifestation. You can do,
Okay.
You can do, if you want to call it prayer. Some people say they pray for things. That's actually manifesting when you're praying for things to happen. Um, Visualization, affirmations is
Okay.
it's all about basically setting your intentions. That's the biggest part of manifestation is to set your intentions and to mean your intentions. Like not to just in your head say something, set an intention and not seriously put that energy and that effort into it. Like actually sit down and I would suggest maybe meditating with your thoughts and with what you want to manifest. And so that's why visualization is like a big part of manifestation. Um,
I agree. Yeah. That is a very,
and
like, yes.
you want to believe as well. What you're asking for, you want to believe and treat it like it's already happened.
Yeah.
If you believe something for yourself and you believe you can achieve something, then you can achieve it.
Here's the thing I always say, like those things, they're like gravity. You actually don't even have to believe in it. Just do it. See what happens. But do it with conviction. Don't do it, going like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, disprove this. No, do it in the spirit of attempting to prove it and see if it works. And then if it doesn't, sure, whatever, but it will. That's the part, because it's like gravity. It's that reliable. It happens. It's currents of energy. It's, your visualizations, they displace things in the etheric, and those things displace other things, and they vibrate at the same frequencies, and so on and so forth, and all that happens as a ripple effect of what you're doing. That's what magic is actually, in essence, is like manifestation on steroids, right? Because you're now taking everything and trying to send it in one concentrated, it's like concentrated orange juice or something. Add water and,
Eh,
nah, that's a stupid example, but hey, yeah, one tries. Yes,
add vodka.
eh? But yeah, no.
Okay.
So, but again, it's always like you got to put the actions. Like anytime I see change in people, it's because they started doing something different. It's never because they started like, I don't know, like yeah, it always follows some sort of action they took, changing their thoughts, changing their actions, changing who they hang out with, changing, what they do, where they do it, who they do it with. It's a change in the environment. It's a change in the, and when I say environment, your thoughts are also your environment.
Mhm.
So it's there's always a change, and then from that change, everything follows. uh like, I mean, right now I'm going through a change, right? Like there's going to be, I'm going to change where I am. You guys are going to see my background change at some point. uh and so when that happens, where there's other things in my life that are going to change because of it, right? Because I'm now in a new
Right.
place. I go different places for my grocery store. I meet different people. Like my whole, everything about my everyday life will not be the same. And so it's always changes, or people fear changes, but they're a good time to reflect on the things in your life and to go, okay, well, what else do I need to change? Right? Let's just do it all at once. Let's just kind of, move into the new thing or whatever, and bring with it only the things I want in the new environment. Not the thing, like, don't drag the things that you're trying to get away from. You know what I mean?
Yes. But I feel like we kind of might be going off topic a little bit.
I do that.
I know. Okay. So
Well,
you kind
maybe
of threw
then
me off a little bit.
that's okay.
Uh, let's see. How about for those of you who would like to do manifesting, how about maybe some simple steps?
Oh, I'd like that. I don't have, like, if you have some, I don't have any. I don't.
Okay. So the first thing you would do is set a clear intention and make sure like you know I'm sorry, somebody's calling my phone and I have to ignore it. I forgot to turn my phone off. Make sure you know what your intention is and state it clearly.
Mhm.
Um you could maybe be manifesting like a new job, a new relationship, financial abundance, health, um these types of things. You have to believe in your visualization. When you're doing a visualization and you're visualizing it happening, believe that, like, put yourself in that place and feel it like it's already happened. Um and remove all your limiting beliefs. That's a big thing, is that people with like negative beliefs or limiting beliefs, that if you want to manifest something, don't continue walking around saying I'll never have this or I'll never have that, or you want to walk around
Well,
saying yes, I will
your
have
beliefs
this.
all have to be going in this.
Yeah,
Your
they have
beliefs,
to
your
be aligned.
emotion, everything has to be
Yeah,
going that direction,
right.
because that's
Everything
the
needs to line up,
direction. Because
and
what?
I
Go
think
on.
that's a big part of why people fail with manifestation. Why people might say, "Oh, well, that doesn't work. I tried manifesting something." Yeah, maybe you tried and then turned around and were complaining about how you didn't have what you were trying to have. That is screwing up energy thoughts with the universe. Like you don't want to do that.
Well, the problem is you're going in two directions at once. It messes
Hmm.
up all of your actions. Your actions and your thoughts and your emotions are all like they're all working in tandem. Like it's all, those items. If you change one, it changes the others. Here's an like there's an exercise that I got from Tony Robbins, and what
Oh, I
he
like him.
did is if you're trying to feel depressed, like stand with your chest out, with your head straight, you know what I mean, and look up, and then try to feel depressed while standing like that. You're not going to get to. You're going to be like, okay, I don't know, I don't, can't I feel depressed now? Slouch over, crouch, bend your shoulders, like your head down. Now try to feel. Like try it. Literally try it as I'm. You'll see it. You'll be like, holy crap! It's because now you're involving your body in a certain direction, and it's preventing you from feeling. So if you're feeling a certain way, like Tony Robbins used to use it. Like let's say he was going to do a sales call or something like that, right? Then in his car he would pump himself up, but then also he would like make his body be a certain way in order to feel that way and come in, right? So he would come in assertive, he would come in like with his body feeling strong, so his mind would follow. So you can lead with your mind, you can lead with your emotions, you can lead with your body, but you have all three. So use them as much as you can to trigger reaction into the other two, or use two to, what I mean, trigger the reaction into one. You can also use smells.
Hey Nick,
Smells are awesome, sounds are awesome for that, because they'll
I
recall certain things.
just put it in the chat, by the
I'm
way.
looking for it. Whoa. Okay.
The
Oh,
step.
set clear intentions. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That is cool. Hi,
So
Nick.
if anyone wants the steps, you can copy and paste it in the chat from the
Cool.
chat.
Nice.
And hello Nick, how are you? So that's basically what I was saying.
Nice. Perfect.
Um,
Yeah,
moving
you gotta. So
on.
you gotta like those visuals, like you say. Like once you see them, like no. Well, I mean, let's use the example, right? Like I'm trying to manifest a house right now, and that's how my life is kind of centered around it in a sense. Like everything is about that. Everything is, all my energy is like, okay, wait a minute. Like so I become like way more aware of what's going on in the situation itself. I become more aware of what my part is. So I now have a more active role in a situation that I may not take, so actively otherwise. Or so for me, like
Oh,
it's about seeing yourself in that situation and then tasting it so much. When you taste something, like when you crave something. I crave milk sometimes. I don't know why. That's for me, that's what it is. It's milk. But there's something you'll crave all of a sudden and you're like, I really want to have like an Oreo cookie or whatever it is. Um,
a
well,
Slim
that
Jim.
you have to kind of create that feeling with the thing where it's like, there's a space empty in your life if you don't get the thing. It doesn't make sense for your life not to receive what you're envisioning. I call it the vacuum effect. If you create room in your life for the thing, well, then the thing will come because your life needs to fill that hole. But you have to create the hole by letting go of the old. It's like a
Out with the
process.
old and with the new.
Yeah. But you have to find out what it is sometimes. You have to go, okay, wait up. What's the challenge I have to first get through and then figure it out? It's like a puzzle. It's like a video game almost. Except with real people, and real people get hurt, but hey, that's life, sadly.
So let's talk about the subject I'm more interested in getting involved
Why am
in.
I alone here?
Oh,
Okay, which
sorry.
is which one?
Which is the subject of witchcraft and magic.
Witchcraft and magic. I know nothing about that. Hmm, I
My
like
new
magic.
interest.
I like magic. Witchcraft, I know only a little bit about, but I know some. Like it's okay. So let's get into the two forms of magic and why they're called such. Some people call witchcraft any earth magic, any herbal magic, any magic with
Mm,
stones. Any of those will count as what's
it could be
called
moon
low.
magic.
Okay, can I get to say what I was trying to say?
Hmm.
Any of those magics that are magics of the magics that were done by the people down from the castles, those were called low magics. Low magic, not because they're a lower magic than high magic, but because the castles were high on the mountains and the people were low in the valleys. And so it was the low magic of the valley and the high magic. Now, high magic is a more intellectual type of magic because it was the people that could write. It was the magicians that were hired by the kings and whatever. And so they wrote rituals, they designed things, they were like the more like the masons a little bit, like those kinds of people they became. And so both types of magic have equal value, right? Because magic is all about like any other spiritual practice anyways, it's about your insights, it's about you, it's about, you know, it's you and your relationship to the world. And this is where witchcraft is really nice for the relationship with nature in particular, because you're now using herbs, you're using things of the earth, you're using, you know, again, like you say, rituals to the moon, rituals to the sun, although you do those in high magic as well. But you're attuning yourself with your environment. If you go a lot in the forest and you do those kinds of things, like if you look at shamans, at druids, those kinds of people throughout history, like they typically went and did those things, right? Um, Whereas the high magicians, it was books and symbols and whatnot. And there's a lot of power in that as well. Both have a lot of power, but that's where I see the difference. But you guys have been doing a little bit of witchcraft, so that's kind of.
No,
So, what do you think of it?
we haven't been doing witchcraft.
Well, you've been looking at it a
We've
little
been
bit.
studying witchcraft.
Yeah. All right. Well, what have you found? What have you.
We just studied like the different types. We looked into some spell work. We haven't done any spell work.
What were your thoughts on what you were reading, what you were seeing?
Well, I'm not going to try any spell work until I'm familiar with protection rituals.
That's a good. That's a very good idea. that
Well,
that should be
yeah.
the basics. That should be like, you know, Magic 101. Learn to protect yourself. Magic 102. Go burn
I mean,
yourself.
I know how to
I don't know.
protect myself. I just have this feeling like it's different, like for just out of respect.
Um. Okay. Here's what I'll say it this way. I think because it makes it, some of the previous discussions we've had, like it might shed more light. Yes, you can protect yourself. However, if you start doing magic or witchcraft, the reason you'll need those protections is because you'll need to protect yourself from a whole bunch of new things, because
Right.
when you start acting in that realm, things in that realm start noticing you,
Right.
and they start going, hey, what's this person doing, and they come about. And so if you create a space, and not only that, but like, I know in high magic, when I create a circle, I can either A, banish all negative energy, or B, banish all energy. Now, depending on what kind of magic I want to do, both will serve. Like on a daily basis, I'll banish all negative energy and then I'll balance my energies. If I wanted to do a spell because I want to obtain something, or I want to, you know, change something, whatever it is, I want to affect something in the world, then I would banish both energies so that I create a vacuum inside of my circle. And then I would create a ritual where I fill that circle with one specific energy. So I would assign it a color, a number, a scent. I would assign it a specific stone, maybe a certain herb. I would look up, like, there's people that have made a lot of correspondences, so they exist already. However, you can kind of get away from those as well, because magic is ultimately about yourself. So you can do whatever resonates with you, but a lot
I
of
was
times,
gonna
if
say it's kind of like anything else. Like you can change it up to do what you feel you should be doing.
yes, however, if you do it the way thousands of people have done it previous to you, you're now tapping in the akashic records, rather than writing your very first instance of what you're inventing. You know what I mean? Like, don't drive a car and go, cool, I'm gonna go build a car. No, you're not gonna go build a car. You just drove a car. Like, you didn't you,
No,
you
I don't know
don't.
what you mean. I didn't understand that at all.
Well, what I'm saying is, don't never do ritual that was already done and go, oh, I'm gonna design my own. No, you don't know how to design ritual. You don't even know how to do ritual yet. It's like an artist that, they learned to draw a line when they were a baby, and they went like, yay, I'm an artist now. No, you drew a line. You're not, you
Well,
know what I mean? You're
to,
not a Picasso here.
if they feel like they're an artist, they're an artist.
Well, okay, then at that point, we're just going to defy anything that has any objective reality. So, where do we go from here?
Kind of like
Well, okay,
um,
okay, but we've made it, everything is a non thing. So, okay, great. That's not an answer.
if it works for somebody, I'm not gonna argue with them about it. It is whatever you think it is fine with me.
Okay.
What?
What do you mean, what?
What?
I did not say. Okay.
I know you went silent.
Seriously?
That's very rare.
Okay. Um. All right. So, what are we talking about now?
Well, the next subject is energy balancing, which was your idea,
And grounding.
and
And
grounding. Yep,
or grounding.
and or grounding.
Yeah.
Nurturing inner harmony.
Nurturing. Okay. That too.
So there are different energy healing modalities. People use Reiki. Some people use crystal healing. Some people use sound healing. Can use the same as like with spell work. I would say whatever resonates with you
Yes.
is what you should use when you're doing that type of work.
Yeah, because you can do Kundalini, you can do, like you say, Reiki, you can do polarity, you can do Qigong, you can do, like, there's about, I don't know, 150. um, but the benefits, I would say, like, grab any of the 150 though, and learn it. Learn any of the 150, because anything you do into energy work, you're gonna start learning about yourself at a level that you've never touched before, because you never.
And did I mention sound healing? I don't know if I mentioned sound healing.
Yes, you did.
That's my favorite.
Using different
Um,
frequencies to
no,
balance
I
energies.
I like using just music,
Okay.
whatever music resonates with me.
Okay. And then with the music, like, just listening to music.
Music like levels me out.
Okay. What do you mean by levels you out?
If I'm sad, it'll make me happy. If I'm happy, it'll make me sad. It just
Okay.
levels me out.
All right. That's interesting.
Music is the voice of the soul.
That's an interesting thing it does. I don't think it doesn't do that to me. Well, depending on the music, different music will tend to bring me different places. Like, I don't have I have, like, if I want to feel a certain way, I'll want a certain type of music or whatever.
So if you want to balance your energy, if you feel like your chakras are unaligned or something like that,
Hmm.
you can do it pretty much anytime, anywhere. You can just use your visualization and imagine your chakras spinning. Imagine like a wheel, and imagine them spinning clockwise and spinning and spinning and spinning, and you're opening your chakras. So um just for the knowing, if someone says you have a blocked chakra, or if you feel like you have a blocked chakra, your chakra's not actually blocked, because you would be dead if it was. But what this means is similar to like when someone has a blocked artery, or something like that, where yeah, it's blocked, but it's not totally blocked. So the way to unblock it would be to imagine it spinning, and you can imagine it with colors too. You can use crystals if you feel drawn to crystals. If you feel drawn to a specific crystal for a specific chakra, which there are crystals that resonate with chakras, you can look that up. Um, you can use the crystals as well. Set an intention, um, and imagine your chakras spinning until they're all open.
Okay. What would open look like?
Um, to me, open would be like when it's actually spinning, it would be like I would see like the color opening up, like
Does it become brighter?
not necessarily brighter,
Okay.
but it is like as this wheel is spinning,
Hmm.
you would notice like this. You wouldn't notice. This is how I notice it. I feel
But
like
that's cool. That's what we want.
color is like pushing out. Imagine like if you took a dropper of like food poisoning. Not oh my god.
Okay. No, I can't
Oh
imagine
god.
that.
Oh my god.
No, I'm
Okay. Imagine if you took a dropper of food coloring.
coloring. Yes.
Yeah, and you dropped it into a glass of water or whatever you're dropping it into.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you drop the food coloring, it expands, and it kind of like opens up in the water. So that's how you would
Okay.
imagine your chakra opening. Like it just expands, and that color is coming out
Okay.
of your
I like
chakra.
that. That's cool.
So
See, I use different centers than the chakras, but it's a very similar thing. And what I do is I bring white energy from I call it Kether, the crown, whatever, from God, if you will.
uh-huh.
Uh, and then that white energy comes to a point here where I have a ball there, one at the throat, one at the heart, one at the groin, and one at the feet, which is a bit different than the chakras, and there's less, but it kind of works. And then you vibrate certain names and whatever at those points, and you
Mhm.
open up the circles with like each circle you fill it with energy, vibrate a few times, do the same thing, the next one, the next one, the next one. Once you've lit them all, you circulate the energy around you like multiple times,
Mhm.
and you just make it circulate, 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 and you feel it. You kind of like you go maybe 10 times each circulation, so you do back to front, and then you do right to left to right, but you do it like 10 times each. And then you do just like if you were going to become a mummy. So the light comes around you and wraps you. And then as you exhale, it comes out of the top like little drops, and it just kind of goes right back at the bottom to your feet. And then on the next exhale, inhale, sorry, again, it wraps you like a mummy. And then as you exhale, it comes out. And so you circulate it like that, like 10 times. And that ends up, oh, you ended up on mute. There you are. You're not muted anymore.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you were muted on purpose. You weren't talking to us. All right, fine. Okay, I'll mute you again. I'm not sure what I was saying though now. But here's the way I balance the energy, and that's one way. I mean, you can only if you only visualize it like that and you don't vibrate anything, people like it'll still help. Anything you can do if you visualize just a very simple light coming through you, and you
Okay,
like
stop.
any. any energy you play with, you'll get used to playing with life energy. So visualize it, imagine it, feel it, practice. There's little exercises that, oh, that's true. I used to learn those. Those were fun. You do stuff like between your hands. If I can find my hands on the camera, like
And feel.
hold your hands like this, and
Mhm.
feel and imagine a little ball of light, and feel the heat, and feel and you. I mean, surprisingly, you kind of get to do it. Now, yeah, you kind of go, well, that doesn't prove anything. That's fine. That doesn't prove anything. Okay, but do another 100 things that don't prove anything, and when 100 of them work, you'll go, okay, wait up. Maybe it doesn't prove anything, but wait up, my life has changed, and why? Well, okay, because maybe it does prove something when you do it for yourself, but but you got to do it. You can't be
Yes.
proven. It doesn't work like other branches of science. This one you have to do because it has to look within you. So within you is not available in a lab. It's available within you.
Guys, please like and share the live and help us get that algorithm going.
That would be super awesome.
And anyone interested in coaching can reach out to Frank.
I would love to coach you guys.
I believe you're going to be planning after you settle into your new place, you're going to be planning a
That's it.
group, right?
Indeed, that's what I wanted to do is open up a group coaching. I'm not sure how many people, but I don't want to let in too many people, so it'll be just a few people, a small group.
Are you thinking like 5 or 10?
I don't know, like it might be seven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the middle.
Yeah, because I'm leaning around those numbers because 10, it's starting to be big. 5, it's still small a bit.
Mhm.
Like 6, 7, something like that. Like it's a pretty good. I mean, if you guys have an idea for a number or whatever, if anybody's interested, like if you're that's something you'd be looking into, whatever, let me know. At least I'll know there's interest. But first I got to move. That's priority number one. But when that happens, you'll notice the background changing, so you'll know, hey, he's not there no more.
And anyone wanting a reading with me, I am opening my list up. I am now officially only doing psychic readings, psychic and mediumship readings. I'm no longer working on the side. So, yeah, I'm opening up my list again.
There we go.
And let's see what else I wanted to say.
So what about, we said grounding too with balancing, and I know you're a big advocate of grounding.
Yes, definitely. Um, Grounding. We came from the earth, go out in the earth and put your feet in the dirt. Bruh, I don't
There
know
you go.
where that came from.
But it worked.
That worked. That sounded good, huh?
But it worked for sure.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not sure if I can say it again. I don't remember exactly how I said it, but yeah.
It's recorded.
Yeah. That sounded good. So yeah, always go put your feet in the earth. Or if you can't go put your feet in the earth, let's say you live in New York and you only have cement, imagine it. Imagining it is better than not doing it at all.
I'll go to the park.
Yeah.
They have a big park.
I'm sure you can figure a way out.
um,
Um,
yeah, no, it's a very good idea. If not, like, even go to nature and focus on one, the ground, yes, but also the air, the birds, the water. If you pass water, like
and you'll feel better. Just
every
the sunlight
subtle.
gives us vitamins that make us feel better. You will feel better.
The
Um,
sunlight is my connection to
yeah.
source, to it
And
all.
if those of you who are looking to develop psychic mediumship, the best advice I can give you is go sit outside by yourself in nature, and connect with nature. And you'll
Mhm.
hear a lot of messages coming from nature.
Yeah, nature is
Great place to start.
nature is a very nice place. Well, it's because it's a place where you can actually listen to what's going on inside you, and it will actually because remember, well, I mean, I always say that anyways. I say that life is a mirror, And when you're in the forest, you're not bouncing off of other people's mirrors. You know what I mean? You're not like a whole bunch of people. There's not a whole lot of action going on. So whatever you're focusing on, you can sort of get an instant sense of it through. This is going to sound absolutely crazy to some people, but through what nature feeds you back, you can actually use it as sort of a sounding board for your thoughts. It sounds absolutely crazy, but here's the theory behind it. Whenever we're going through something, like how objective reality becomes subjective is because we add our experience to it,
Mhm.
right? So both you and I could be in the same place in the same forest looking at the same stuff. You might be looking at a squirrel and I'm looking at a bluebird. And both of us are right side by side in the forest, and we each go back, and you write a book about a squirrel and I write a book about a bluebird. And people go, well, there's
Or
no way they were in the same forest because that don't sound the same.
but we could also both be looking at that same bluebird and write a story about the same bluebird, and it's totally different because we saw it in a different way.
Absolutely. You looked at it and it had a beak on the left. I looked at it and it had a beak on the right because it was between us. You know what I mean? It's just we were looking at different parts of the bird. But not only that, but also the experience we have of things, right? Um, let's say for a moment your husband calls you honey. I call you
He calls
Jill.
me Angel, but I
Okay.
I don't know why. He must know better by now.
So your husband calls you Angel. I call you Jill. Somebody else might call you, like your doctor might call you Miss Petrie. Now, what if you go to the doctor one day and all of a sudden the doctor goes, "Hey, what's up, Angel?" All of a sudden you're gonna be like, "What the
No,
hell
I
is
don't
going
think I
on?"
would be
Right?
shocked. I don't know, 'cause
Okay, fine, but you know what I mean, though. Like,
in this particular situation, I have to wonder if he really knows what my name is. Because he calls me Angel, and that's all he calls me, and if he speaks to somebody else, he still refers to me as Angel,
your
and I
husband, he might not
yeah,
know your name.
and I'm like, "Do you know what my real name is?" Like, I don't know.
If I was him, I would never say it again. Just as a yeah, I think I know it. Well, what is it? I don't know. Like you know it, but that's my little defiant rebel side. It was bad when I was younger.
Alright, next topic.
Shielding for empaths. It's more of an accolade. Like it's something I wanted to mention it just because, and it follows with everything we've talked about. But for empaths, like a lot of times, they tend to end up in overwhelm, right? Where
Well, let's first start with, like, defining an empath for those that I mean, I'm sure most people know, but you never know.
you're a smart cookie.
Someone
Uh,
might not know.
okay, so as a quick, dirty definition, an empath is somebody that has the ability to feel other people's emotions. Typically, it can also be the ability to feel their pain on certain levels, but it's an excessively developed empathic ability.
Let's say
Uh,
everybody has it, but some people to a great, great extreme.
exactly, to a bigger extreme. Now, one of the things that happens with that is that because we're able to feel other people's emotions, it can get mixed up with our own. We won't know that the emotion we're feeling is not that of another person. So we'll go like, "Oh my God, why am I feeling sad all of a sudden? What is going on?" Like, good example, when the pandemic started, I went to Walmart and I could feel everybody in the Walmart. I could feel like a sadness. It was really, really, you could cut it with a knife, and I had to go back to my truck and just start crying. And then I left, and 2 minutes later, I was fine. And I was like, wow, before I went to Walmart, I had a perfect day. Like it was, things were beautiful. After I went to Walmart, like once I left, things were perfect. While at Walmart, that was happening. Now I was connecting on emotions that were not mine. But what a lot of empaths, what happens is they're completely confused. They don't know how to tell the two apart. They're like, okay, but how do I know it's mine? How do I know it's not mine? How do I know and part of that is because a lot of us have a lot of traumas, and a lot of us have a lot of shadows, and a lot of us have uh, so the problem is, as long as you don't know how to identify your own emotions very well, yeah, you're never going to know which, like, whose emotion it is. And even once you start being able to, the problem is if it triggers, because don't forget, as empaths, we had that ability as kids, right? So for a very young infant to be feeling emotions that are going on between usually troublesome adults around them is really freaky, because they have
Yeah.
no understanding
And
of
they
what
do
they're
feel
feeling.
it. They do feel, and they learn it. And the bad thing is, they grow up thinking it's okay to live like that.
Yes, well, that's most people too. Except an empath, they have felt those emotions on a different level, and we continue feeling them because it becomes a survival thing at some point. Now, some of us develop not even through that whatsoever. So there's a lot of different variations in what is called an empath. But following the one general main idea, which is feeling other people's emotions, feeling some people it's animals that they feel. Some people will feel people closely, like one person or whatever, but they won't feel groups. Other people, like myself, I'll feel group emotions, like literally, the emotions. Like if I go to an event or something, it becomes like way too much for me because I'm feeling a whole group vibe, and it's really disturbing sometimes. So if something like terrible happens, I would feel that general vibe, and that's disturbing. But so each empath has their own way that they do that. The problem is when you're not yet able to tell apart the emotions, when those of others come in, they may trigger one of your shadows, or they may trigger one of your traumas. So now anger comes in. Let's say you have anger in your shadow. You don't accept that you're an angry person. You never, no, there's no way on earth I could ever be angry. Whatever. What are you talking about, right? And yet you're a person that snaps every once in a while. Um, Now, anger, you feel somebody else's anger. Well, here's the deal: you've put that in your shadows. So you don't want to feel anger. You're not very comfortable with feeling anger. So the minute anger comes in, you get all kinds of triggered. And now you're feeling somebody else's emotion, but no, not anymore. Now you're feeling your trauma. It got triggered by somebody else's emotion, which is really confusing. But on top of it, you're now living a trauma. So you're going, well, that's not somebody else's emotion. That's my emotion. Why did it come up? And it makes no sense to have come up in that moment because it got triggered by something else. Do you see what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's like, that's what, once you become good at recognizing your emotions, your traumas, and your shadows, the better you know yourself, the more when something like that happens, you can immediately go, wow, okay, somebody's feeling weird here, because that's not how you were feeling before. Because 5 minutes ago I was feeling happy or content, or whatever the hell was going on in my day. Um, and shielding is what you use as an emergency method when you have not yet reached that level of control over your emotions. And so, using the same methods we were talking about before, using energy, using visualizations, what you can do is, if at some point, let's say you're at work, a lot of times empaths tend to be introverts as well. So at work, they'll have a lot of difficulties because they're with a lot of people. They're feeling all the emotions. Maybe one coworker said something that was weird, and that triggered something. It becomes a huge mess. They're overwhelmed. They're going like, oh my God, I just want to go home. How am I going to get through the day? Whatever. Shielding, there's many ways of doing it. You can find some on the internet, but here's one that I'll say like real quick. You can go in and in your little corner somewhere in the bathroom, wherever you need to go, and then kind of calm yourself, like breathe slowly. If you haven't done that, basics 101, just learn to breathe. Learn to breathe slow and purposefully in any way, shape, or form. Like look up breathing exercise online, whatever. Breathing is important. So go calm yourself a little bit, breathe, and then imagine again a ball of light at your center in your heart, whatever. And then again, create that sphere of protection around yourself. And you can even imagine, like, I tend to imagine the intentions of others or their thoughts or whatever as these little black, I don't know, little dots, if you will, or little specks that are coming at the little ball, but the ball is protecting me from those outside influences. And just that visualization and knowing, taking the moment, breathing in that little sphere for maybe a minute, and then taking back in the sphere, like you make it disappear in your mind's eye, but you know it still exists. It's still there. You just don't see it because you now have to go back to work. And you make it disappear. You awaken again. You're still breathing slowly. You're still calm. And now you've sort of like warded off that attack, if you will. I don't like calling it that because it's not an attack, but and you've warded off that feeling, and now you might be able to sit with your own emotions and to say, how do I feel today? How am I doing? How much of that was mine? How much of it wasn't? And so I call it the band-aid for empaths, the survival tool until you can do better. That's it.
So, as an empath, it's important to protect yourself from absorbing other people's energy. And I'm going to give you some practices that can help you. So, we talked about grounding already. Grounding, staying connected to the present moment and in your own energy. Like I said, we all came from the earth, so we want to be connected to that energy. Frank talked about shielding. Frank, shielding is for you like putting a bubble of protection. Is that how
And
you?
yes, that's pretty much that's pretty much what it is, because you're trying, like, say you meet you see an energy vampire. Well, you can shield yourself, right? They won't have access to your energy. Like you're
Mhm.
creating a sphere of protection around yourself,
Right.
right? But it's a quick and dirty way of doing it. I have ritualistic ways that could take 10 minutes, but that's one quick way that you can do it, as a that anybody can do it at work, and it will work. So, like, it'll do a fair bit in
So
itself.
basically, what you would do is you would imagine like a bubble of, or maybe it could be light, it could be a bubble of light around you.
Hmm.
And you would imagine this as being a barrier to prevent external energies from entering your space. It could, if you want it to be any energy, could be any energy. Some people just want to prevent negative energy. Your intention is key, just like with everything else. So if you're going to shield yourself, set your intention while you're imagining this bubble around you of what you want it to do. Another way to help yourself if you're picking up on other people's energy is basically getting enough rest, eating nourishing foods.
Hmm.
You can engage in activities that make you happy, things that you feel happy doing. Um, you might maybe want to imagine when you're in the shower, if you're a busy person and you just don't have the time to sit down and imagine yourself being shielded or bu- having a bubble around you while you're in the shower. Imagine that that water falling on you is cleansing off all that
Absolutely.
energy on you, and that works
Absolutely.
too. It's all in your
Yeah.
intention. um
And if you can't visualize at first, like all the, because we mentioned a lot of visualization here, just know that it exists. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of go, okay, I can't see it, but it's okay. Yeah, sure. The water is running off me, or that energy is coming into me. And at some point, it'll become easier and easier to see those things. And then at some point, it'll become like excessively easy, like any other skill.
everybody's energy managing is unique. We all manage it differently. It doesn't mean that one way's right and one way's wrong. It's whatever works for you. So whatever I said that in the different examples that I've given you, you you may find one night you feel more comfortable with than the other. Um just,
Yeah.
I want to go back to the shower thing. Just like when you take a shower every night
Hmm.
or twice a day, like I do. Sometimes my husband takes a bath like 3 or 4 times a day. Like we are always, my water bill is $60, $70. Very whole nother story. Serious stuff. But anyway, just like you would clean off all that, the dirt or the sweat or whatever particles you picked up
The
in the air from your
grime,
body,
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
you want to clean that off of you. You want to clean people's energy off of you.
Hmm.
If you are out in the store or at work or wherever with like a bunch of negative people all day cursing and aggravated and th- not happy about life or the boss, whatever, you want to get all that energy off of you. You don't want to keep that energy on you, and you also want to protect yourself from feeling that energy. So a way to do that would be to have good boundaries with people, energetic
Yes.
boundaries. Set clear boundaries with everybody and tell them how you feel. If you feel overwhelmed when you're in a situation with a lot of people, let them know I'm too overwhelmed for this. We need to take a break from this and come back to this later. It's okay to walk away from that situation if you're feeling too overwhelmed. You may never want to revisit it. That's your right. So that's a way to, after you cleanse the excess energy off of you, to keep it clean from other people's energy. Um Set clear boundaries because people give you their energy whether they know it or not.
Yes.
People that you don't even know give you their energy. Um
Especially if you're an empath, because people tend to come and tell you like everything about themselves.
mhm.
Like it's a, anybody that identifies as an empath will go, yeah, I'm at Walmart, and the person beside me starts telling me like, oh yeah, and then this happened with my wife, and then this, that, and my kid does this and that, and you're like, okay, it was nice to meet you too. It's like, I don't know why, but yeah, we have that thing, right? It's just like, I don't know, people just go, okay. And it's okay. Like sometimes I believe that empaths, the way we feel people's emotions, I think we're like, pardon me, let me get water. I think we're like a heat sink for emotions. So when people are having a hard time, we kind of pick up the extra, we dissipate it for them. So maybe we take some of their feeling, some of their
Mhm.
energy, and we take it with us somewhat. But then
Mhm.
we have to clean ourselves. We have to learn to let it go. But when we take it, it kind of takes away some of it from them. I believe that's why people open up to us, and they, all that happens is because, yeah, they leave. We may have changed their life and we'll never know. But they had somebody. I had a friend when I started doing meetings when I got in recovery. I had a friend at some point, he was feeling like completely depressive. He wanted to go use, he was freaking out. And what he did is he went like right outside of his apartment. He lived like kind of in a not downtown, but close to downtown area. So there was a lot of people, and he just kind of got out of his apartment, grabbed the next person that was passing by, and started going like, listen dude, I'm really not doing well, you got to hear this, like this is what's happening, blah blah blah. And he just went on and said like the whole thing to that person, and the person was just like frozen, like what in the name of god is going on, right? And then this guy just went right back up his apartment, and he went like, oh, I felt a ton better. And I was like, you know what, yeah, that's exactly it. That's the right thing. You did exactly what was needed. Now you can do it on paper. I call it a brain dump. So you can always write all those things. You don't have to go grab a stranger. Um, or at the very least, you may want to pay for their therapist bill later. But because that person had a lot to say, I'm sure, knowing my friend. Um, but yeah, so you know what, like it's important to know those emergency things you can do, like the grounding, the shielding. All those things are important, but you also, like Jill said, have to develop boundaries. You have to work on yourself, becoming a stronger. Um, I like the word suffering these days. You have to learn to become a suffering person. You're like the king of your world or the queen of your world. Like you're it. You're the the main character of the story, and that's important. That's a big thing. Like all those times when you balance energy, you shield, you do all those things. It's important that you understand the position you're taking in the universe at that moment is the very center of the universe. Because in case you haven't noticed, the universe does not really have like an edge or a center. And so basically, any of us is the center of our universe. Um, we don't have a center of the universe. And so every time you do those things, like remember that what you're doing is you're centering yourself and you become the center of your universe, and everything around you will respond to how you are. And that's why I always say love is the answer to all of our problems. Because once we start loving, only love comes back. But as long as we keep hating, guess what comes back? Mirror. So, but we all go, yeah, I know they should stop hating. Yeah, exactly. It gives me a headache.
Okay, moving on, Frankie.
Well, isn't it true?
So, we went through energy cleansing. Let's go through intuitive cleansing.
Oh,
Um,
okay, that's interesting.
so this would be like a regular cleansing, using maybe sage or Palo Santo, something
Okay.
like that. Maybe,
Well,
maybe
run for the viewers what those are, because not all of them know.
it could be incense. Um, it can be, if you want to go, if we talking witchy, we can go with like black salt. We could use crystals, selenite. I could go on and on, Frank. Like
Yeah, I
the
know,
show
but
would
how do
never
you
end.
like tell us a method by which you use the sage or whatever? Like any.
So it's really with intention as well. Sage is, so you just light the sage. I use sage regularly. I have like probably 5 sticks right here in my close vicinity, plus in my bathroom, and then I have Palo Santo all over too. So I use this for crystals, for the house, for my tarot cards, for whatever. Um, if you're gonna sage yourself, make sure you do like under everything, under your feet. Um, Sage is like awesome. I use white sage.
Okay,
Don't ask me what the differences are. I just like white sage.
I'm sure they
Um,
they all work from what I understand.
so people can energetically do draining or even harmful things to you, depending on your situations and your environment. So you may want to just watch the people that you're around. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with positivity, with love and light, or you don't want to be around negative energies, because it does make a difference in your life. Um, I think I might have covered everything now, and I thought I had a lot left to go through. I'm sure I can find a lot of things to go through. Um, you can use bath salts, um, crystals like black tourmaline, any black crystal actually. I have some black tourmaline right here.
So any black crystal, that's
Where
good
is
to
my
know.
camera?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the black crystals are protection crystals.
Okay. I'm not very. I've always been attracted to crystals, but I've never known them that well. Like I don't know.
I've only known crystals the last 5 or 6 years, maybe.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Um, but now I don't even know, Frank, to be honest with you.
Many
Um,
crystals. Yeah, I know.
it's too many to count, and I kind of don't. I have a room full of crystals,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
huge room, a big
Yeah.
room.
Oh yeah, you went at it at
Plus,
some point.
they're on other places like they're everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no count. I do have I do have my favorite right here though. This is my favorite crystal. Where is my camera?
Oh, nice. It's an amethyst.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Am I showing you?
Yeah.
Frank, can you? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at it and it's like really, really slow.
Oh, weird. Okay, no,
Like my
it's
favorite
normal.
piece. Okay.
We see it normal. That's a
So,
beautiful piece.
yeah,
It's nice and
this
big
is
too.
amethyst is good for people with addictions.
Yes,
Um, it will help with an intuitive too.
purifying.
Amethyst is just beautiful. It's also the birthstone of February. My
Hmm.
birthstone's garnet.
Mine
I have
is
some garnet,
emerald.
not in front of me, but I have some. I have a little bit of emerald. That's a crystal that I don't have a lot of. I mainly got some emerald because Carly's birthstone is emerald,
Hmm.
and so I had got some emerald for her.
When I got married, I got my ring made, and I got 2 diamonds and 3 emeralds in it. And I told the guy that I was working construction, and he was like, "You're an idiot. You're not going to put emerald in there." And I was like, "Well, yeah, but it's my birthstone." And he's like, "Yeah, don't put it in there because you're going to wear it at work and it's going to die." And I was like, "No, no, but I mean, whatever, man. It's my birthstone." Yeah, I broke all 3. Eventually, over time, all 3 broke at some point and then fell out. And I was like, "Oh, come on! Why did you have to be right?" Uh, but yeah, I would have gone then and got them replaced. But then we got divorced, and I didn't really have a use for the ring
Then yeah,
anymore. So
I took care of it.
I should have kept it though. It was beautiful, but whatever. Why? It would have
So
needed 3 emeralds.
I just want to let everyone know too, going back to the manifestation topic, that don't expect everything you want just to come to you. Manifestation takes practice, persistence. You have to have a positive mindset. And when I say practice, I mean regular practice. Like you can't just do this and think, oh, it's going to happen. You have to put this in. It could take time, and the amount of time it's going to take is going to be the persistence you put in it, because it's not going to just happen if you don't put that mindset into it.
It depends. If you
Um,
have the conviction, it could. When I lived on the streets, something happened to me, and that was a big telltale for me. But my things, I had very few things. Everything fit in a backpack. But I know one time that something happened. That's a good example of that. My things would wait for me. So I could leave that backpack like in the middle of downtown Montreal on a street corner, walk to the restaurant, pick up a burger, whatever, come back to my bag, and it would still be there. And for some reason, I had the conviction that my things were not going to go anywhere. And one day I had my grandfather's watch, which was not a crazy expensive watch, but it was still, worth a couple of hundred or whatever. It was an older watch, and it had one of those mechanisms that if you shake it, it winds itself. And I left it in a food court in Montreal, no less, like downtown Montreal. And we left. We took the subway to go somewhere else. And midway to where we were going, my buddy looks at me and he goes, "Dude, where's your watch?" And I was like, "Oh crap, I left it at the food court." He's like, "Okay, well, let's turn around and go get it back." And I was like, "No, no, we're halfway there. Like, we'll just go there and then we'll go back." And he was like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, somebody's gonna grab your watch." And I was like, "Oh, no, no, my watch will
yeah,
be
but
there.
it was
It'll
still
wait for
there.
me." And it was there. It was there. But I had at those times, I had so much conviction. Like I used to panhandle for my money, right? And I mean, you're panhandling, you're not rich. But I would panhandle, and if somebody, let's say I was panhandling because I did drugs, obviously back then, and if I panhandled for drugs and then I saw somebody that needed food, and they were like, "Oh man, I've been panhandling for a while and I can't manage to get any food and whatever, I'm starving," I would go like, "Oh, okay, here, go buy a burger," and I would give them my money, and I'd be like, "Well, that's okay. I can make more money for drugs. Like we'll figure it out later." Because I knew that I would make whatever I needed when I needed it. And I did. Like it's never been I sometimes doubt that now, but back then I doubted it even less because I really had a lot less to. That's the thing. The more you have to lose, the harder it is to do that, right? Because now you've got a lot to lose. So it's the attachment to the things we have, which sometimes makes getting the things we want even more difficult. We have to be willing to let life reorganize for the new thing we want. But we're not always willing to let life run the show. Sometimes we want to just take over, and that's ego.
Yep, that's not a great thing to have.
Ego? No, I mean, it's an okay thing to have. It keeps us alive. It's a very good thing to have, but it's not a good thing to let take over. It can't lead the show. It has to be listening to us. But that's a whole other topic, and we've already been at it for an hour, so I think we're good.
Yeah, we are good.
I think we've covered the topics.
Let me check the
Hopefully,
chat
we've
real
kept some
quick.
people interested. You know, I mean,
Okay, guys, if you want those steps, you can find them in the chat. And I have a quicker one here. Oh, magic ways to 16 magic ways to manifest.
oh, cool.
And write wish letters, be grateful, visualize your perfect reality, create a new you, let go, prepare yourself for your manifestation, say miracles can happen every day. Don't be overly attached. Follow your intuition. Take time for your happiness. Live in the present moment. Write your dream story. Make a list of proofs. Use affirmations. Clear and activate your chakras. Um, so let me go back up real quick. I know we're about to end the show, but let me go back up real quick to where it says, um, make write your dream story. Um,
Hmm.
that means keep a journal. Everybody should keep a journal so you can look back at your life. And if you want to manifest something, you can also manifest with a journal. You can actually write when this says write your dream story, take your journal and if your life is not what you want it to be, write your life what you want it to be. Write a fairy tale, a pretend story about your life and write your life out at how you want it to be. Worst case scenario, at the end of this journal that you're keeping, if you can't manifest it, which you can if you put it in, if you put it your intention in, you can. But worst case scenario, if you can't, you have a book to publish. You all good. Like
That's
it's a
funny.
win-win situation to me.
That's good. I like that.
So I think you should, yeah, everybody write a journal, or if you don't want to write a journal, write your life story, or do both.
Well, but the dream story, though, it's also, and it's not just writing if you're able to immerse yourself, imagine virtual reality, right? Place yourself in the virtual reality of where you want to be, right? Like, let's use my case right now. I want a house, whatever. I will visualize myself living in that house, making breakfast to my children. Where will my daughter be sitting? Where will my son be sitting? Like, as clearly as that can become in my house, the clearer I can see it, the more the universe tends to want to make it happen. It is not a, I we could talk all night about, like, oh, this is why it works, or this is why it doesn't work, or this is why it shouldn't work. Because yeah, that will be the argument that people will bring. No, that shouldn't work. That makes no sense whatsoever. And it's like, yeah, sure, but
Well,
it does. And so that you can take to the bank because it does work. But in order for it to work, you have to put all of you into it. You have to become the thing you want. You can't just, like, it's like when
right.
you want a new job. Don't show that you're able to do the job you're doing. Show that you're able to do the job that you want. Then they'll go, "Oh, she'd be good in that job." Well, the
But
universe will do that.
also, let me also say, you I don't recommend manifesting things that are way out of reach. Like, don't try to like win the I mean, you can try, but to me it's kind of like, if you're going to manifest something that is in your reality, cuz you have to connect with it. You have to be able to make a connection with it for it to work. So you don't want to go far fetched to start and manifest something that's really out of, like, say I want to go to the moon or something, and like, you know what, you have to get something in your reality that you can actually see yourself doing. It has to be realistic
I
to your
might see
life.
myself on the moon.
Okay. Well, good luck starting with that.
But
Wait. You
um,
know what we have not done yet today?
yes, show 'em the little aliens. uh, but yeah, no, it's. I mean, it's about being able to immerse yourself in the idea of where you want to go, because the universe works that way. We were created as a creator, and the way we create is by first think of anything we create. I want to invent a vacuum cleaner. I have a problem. There's dust all over my floor, right? Now I start imagining a solution for the dust on my floor. And that solution would be, oh, maybe some device that sucks dirt. That could work. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we have motors. How could we use a motor? Oh, wait, when it turns, it makes wind. Maybe we use the wind of that. Maybe. And then next thing you know, we have a vacuum cleaner. Now that is magic. That is manifestation. Oh, okay. Yeah, you didn't think it was going to be that boring. People thought it was going to be like, I'm going to think that I'm rich and I win the lottery, and tomorrow morning I'm going to win the lottery and I'm going to have to do nothing.
No, this, you got to put
That's
work
not life.
into it. You have to put you have it has to be realistic, and you have to be able, it takes time to manifest something. You know, it could take days, it could take, don't get me wrong, it can take hours.
I was
Yeah,
going to
but
say some.
majority of people, it's going to take days or weeks or months, or it could take you even years.
Well, the
Um
other thing is well, my belief that we may
your
be very
consistency
different.
is important too. If you're trying to manifest something and you're doing it for a month and it doesn't happen and you're giving up, then it's never going to happen. You
But
have to continue working on that and continue putting the work into it until it happens.
here's another
And when
problem
go
though.
ahead.
Coming from a magician standpoint, if you're out, also if you're trying to manifest something that's going against your true will,
Well,
that's not going to happen. I don't care what you do, and if you
no.
make it happen, it will be really bad for you.
Hmm.
So don't. So that's the thing. You need to know. See, that's where I defer a little bit, because yes, I add additional safeties and additional things, like you don't want to manifest things that are not in line with what your higher self knows that you're supposed to be doing here. And most people, they don't know yet. And instead of focusing on discovering themselves and discovering what's inside of them, they're trying to manifest things. Okay, but do you even know what you're supposed to manifest? Like, find that out.
Hmm.
Right? Start by learning to be what you are now, and then go, okay, I'm at peace with me. Now I can go and change the world, because guess what? You know how you change the world? You change you.
Definitely.
That's how you change the world. That's how you manifest, by changing you. The world is a mirror. So if you want to manifest something in the world, if you want to manifest love in your life, here's a very simple way: start loving everybody, start forgiving everybody. Now, when I say forgiveness, I'm not talking about like, oh, please slap me on the other side. That's ridiculous. What I'm talking about is taking ownership of not the situation that happened. You can't do that. But you can take ownership of the emotions that you feel regarding the thing that happened.
Hmm.
And that's what forgiveness is to say, that person, whatever it was, they didn't know better, they didn't, whatever it is, and then say, okay, like the last step will be, do I want to ever speak to that person again, right? And it may be, no, I don't. And that's okay. And it may be, yes, I do. Both are perfectly all right. But forgiveness is going to be detaching any emotional response from that event, going, that event happened. I can feel okay about that because I'm not there no more. I don't have to relive those emotions nonstop every time I think about it. I have to live them once, allow them to exist, and say, this is how I felt when it happened, but this is not how I have to feel about it today. Right? But the one acknowledgement of before has to be there. And when you do that, now you can forgive the person because you don't feel that same hurt anymore. So you don't have to feel resentment, anger, and you're free to give that person love if you'd like. And it's okay. You can love somebody and still not want anything to do with them ever for the rest of your life. That's okay. It's a different love. It's not love like couples love. It's love like, I don't know. I always want to say God's love, but then it'll tickle some ears. So I don't know. Source love, eternal love, universal love, chi energy. I don't know. Whatever. It's that beautiful thing that you can give humans freely, where you give them of your attention, of your time. That's all. All right.
On that note, we were supposed to
We're trying to say bye bye, weren't we?
end, and we did not. All
All right,
right.
guys. We're going to end this time.
All
17
right.
minutes later.
We will we will see you next week, same time, same place.
Love you guys. Thanks for bearing with us. Take care.
Good night.